Alrighty guys, so not the smallest company by any means nowadays, but I looked this up on YouTube and I didn't see anything, so I figured it's probably due a review. Right? I think it's a pretty good product, and I had assumed that it was solid enough that somebody out there had done one already. So what we're going to talk about is the Arbor Arms salt belt. All right, and I think that this is a very good way of doing a battle belt if you don't have the luxury of just leaving it set up one particular way forever. All right, so to start with, you get their inner belt. All right, there's a couple different configurations of this. I have the G-hook closure here, and for what this is, I think the G-hook works fantastic. All right, so you've got a very short tail here for that final adjustment on the G-hook, and then you have a series of what essentially looks like MOLLE webbing here for where you can secure the G-hook, get it in place, and then you can take out the little bit of slack with that tail there. All right, keeps it nice and low profile, and you don't have this giant tail like you typically would on something this forgiving in sizing. All right, and then another thoughtful feature here is they give you these channels where you can thread in a zip tie, which kind of seems a little gimmicky, but what it actually does is it stiffens up the belt right around your sides there, and it allows it to actually bear a pistol pretty well if that's how you'd like to use your pistol. I know several people prefer to have their pistol on the inner belt and then everything else on the outer belt. That way they always have a pistol handy when they don't necessarily need everything else going on with it. I think that's pretty ingenious the way they did that, instead of giving you some always super stiff belt. Right? And then these are sized to match the number of panels on the salt belt. So this is a number 10 salt belt, and I have a number 10 inner belt. All right. Looking at the salt belt, you do not get a inner belt for the actual outer belt part. All right. So you need to add something. I happen to have a Cobra belt laying around, so I went with that. All right, and then the way these things are sold is they have a very good sizing chart on their website. Take their advice. Specifically, do not try to size up to get yourself an extra panel. All right, if you are at all on edge, size yourself down. All right, but you're buying the number of MOLLE panels on the outside. All right, and then this is constructed so that you open this Velcro and then your belt's exposed there, and then you can close it back up. So while you essentially have a continuous battle belt, MOLLE battle belt on the outside for all intents and purposes, you can do things like open up the belt and get a Safariland holster off without having to unthread everything in front or behind it. All right, so I can open this up here. I can get those pouches out of the way, undo the Cobra belt, slide the holster off, and bam, if I don't need to run a secondary that day, I don't have to worry about having a holster there. And then I free up some space. Maybe I need to throw some sort of job specific pouch on there. All right. And you don't lose any rigidity with that system at all. Everything stays exactly where it should be. When you throw this thing on top of your inner belt, it locks everything down, and it's very, very well done. All right. This comes in two variants. There's a padded and unpadded. All right, I went with the unpadded. I've never really felt a whole lot of need for a super padded battle belt or anything like that, and I found it more than comfortable running this through a couple of shooting courses. All right, but that's really it. There's not a whole lot more that really needs to be said about this. It's laser cut, so it's very low profile. I didn't have any issues mounting either these G-code belt mount or traditional Molly. I got a Blue Force gear belt mount on there just fine. These are traditional Molly. They're sitting exactly the way they should be. And then using a slightly different Molly attachment method in the back here. I don't remember what this is, but it's basically a soft malice clip, and that fit in there just fine as well. All right, everything is exactly the spacing that it should be. Each of these is 2 true columns of Molly, and it's very, very easy to figure out what you're going to be able to put on here before it shows up at your doorstep, and know exactly what you're getting. Another win from Arbor Arms. Thanks, guys.